Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the drunkest show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone. Say, man, I be on this every night, 7 o'clock, YouTube and Facebook, and I am the 5-star general. DEON Sanders has shocked the world. Coach Prime then set college football on fire. The man flips the #1 recruit in high school football from Florida State to Jackson State. It don't get no better. Let's get to it, man. Say, man, I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone and tell you thank you for taking the time out to tune in to your man, the 5-star general. You know, every night I go at it, man. Facebook, YouTube, and now we're streaming live to Twitter. We're streaming live to Twitter, man, and we on fire. That's all I can tell you. I want to say this first of all because I always get excited when things go the way that I expect them to go. I love it when a plan comes together. And this plan coming together with me going back to college is kind of working in my favor. It's working in my favor. I will say that much. That I'm really excited. I just finished another semester, and I should be on the dean's list again. Not bad for when I was a kid. I never made the honor roll in high school, but I keep making this dean's list. And if I keep doing what I'm doing, man, I might just graduate with honors from Lamar University. So I'm very, very proud of myself. I know my mom would be very, very happy with what I'm doing. My father also. And it's just a testament to the fact that sometimes you go back to finish what you started. And I'm doing it to show the kids that if an old man can do it, you can do it too. So we should end the semester on the dean's list, a 3.5 GPA. I could do better, but I'm going to take my 3.5 and I'm going to run with it, man. What else I want to talk to you about before we get into our topic? The judge in Lafayette, Louisiana that made the comments and used the N-word on the video is under fire. You got major elected officials that are calling for a resignation. And I think the whole city of Lafayette needs to raise up and do what needs to be done to get this lady off the bench, because she does not need to sit on the bench at all anymore. Looks like this weekend I'll be in Indianapolis, Indiana for a discussion with the national chairman of the new Black Panther Party. And as you know, I am a new Black Panther. I'm in the Central Region Minister of Politics. So I will be in Indianapolis to support my brother, Dr. Malik Zulu Shabazz. If you've never heard him speak, you need to, whenever he comes to your city, or if you need to book him, let me know. I'll get in touch with him. But you definitely need to hear this brother speak. And I'll be in Indianapolis this weekend to support my brother, Dr. Malik Zulu Shabazz of the new Black Panther Party. And there will be a Second Amendment gun rights march that we'll be a part of, just to show people that you can exercise your right to bear arms. That's the thing I wanted to tell you. The MLK Grand Parade in Houston is a big old event. Mr. Charles Stamps is over that, and I'm glad today that I secured my spot to be able to be in that parade. Has a great history, and it honors a great man. So I will be in that parade because I'm a candidate for office, and I want to support the MLK Grand Parade. And I'm going to sponsor all the awards that they need to give away. And I appreciate the opportunity to be able to do that. But tonight we want to talk about something different. You know, normally we on the political thing or we on anything other than this. But today was crazy. in college football. It was National Signing Day. And National Signing Day is normally the day, the first one. And then they have the other one, which is in late February, early March, where kids get to sign to the college that they choose for athletic purposes. And it's a great day for them because they've earned the right to be able to go to college for free on a 4-year ride or whatever they decided, however they deal was structured and worked out. And today, Coach Prime, DEON Sanders, NFL Hall of Famer, but current coach of the Jackson State Tigers, shocked the world. DEON got the #1 recruit in the nation, the John Warren, from Georgia, to decommit from Florida State and sign with Jackson State. Do you understand how important that is? That was a historical moment for Jackson State. It was a historical moment for the SWAC. And I looked around the SWAC today and saw that a lot of good people signed, a lot of good kids, and especially my man down in Houston, Coach Clarence McKinney got six kids to sign with Texas Southern University. And that's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful. Not just DeJohn signing with Jackson State, but all of these kids realizing their dreams of playing college football. And when I graduated, I didn't want to play. I was done. But these kids are going on to the next level. But tonight we're going to talk about the SWAC impact. What is really happening in the SWAC? And not just the SWAC, but HBCUs in general. Historically Black college universities are now major players in the recruitment of high school athletes all across the country. The thing that I like the most is that they are finally realizing that you don't have to go to the big schools, the big Power 5 schools. You don't have to go to realize your dream of playing, college athletics. You can go to the SWAC. You can go to any one of these HBCUs and get the same opportunity that you would get at an Alabama or Texas or Ohio State. The young man today was the #1 recruit in the country. And he decommitted. He made a verbal commitment to Florida State, DEON's alma mater, as a matter of fact. And he came over to Coach Prime. So what is it about Coach Prime that has these kids just falling in love with him? Well, one, DEON has always had swagger. DEON has always had confidence. Nowadays you call it swag. Back in the day, we called it confidence. And he was so confident when he got drafted, when he was getting ready to be drafted, that he said whoever would draft him would have to put him on layaway. He knew he was that good. And I think that's the type of players that he go after. He don't mind you running your mouth as long as you can back it up. He's also a caring coach. He's a coach of great conviction. He believes in God to the higher power. He was able to retire his mom playing football because that's what he promised her he would do. They were very, very poor when he was coming up. And my man is showing out as a HBCU coach. And I'm very, very proud of him for being able to do that. Now, the HBCU factor that I want to talk about is, for a long time, kids would not sign with the SWAC. I played on a monster football team in high school. I think y'all that follow me have heard about it over and over. When you relate to Texas high school football, a lot of people relate to Odessa Permian, Friday Night Lights, Dallas Carter. But I played for a little team down in 3rd Ward, Texas, called the Jackie A's Lions, who by some standards have been labeled the greatest Texas high school football team of all time. We're the greatest to ever do it. And we were right across the street. We were in between, if you know where Yates is located. We're between, it's like a 3-block radius between Texas Southern University and the University of Houston. And when we graduated, ranked number 2, when we finished our season, ranked number 2 in the country. Texas Southern University didn't come across the street to recruit us. They didn't recruit any of us. And off of that team, we had 32 seniors to get college scholarships, and they never recruited any of us. And we couldn't understand why the team right across the street would not even recruit us. Now, Al says I would not go to Mississippi for nothing. I understand, Al. I understand that's your ideologies, but at the end of the day, these kids are really just trying to get out of the hood, some of them. If they can end up in Mississippi with Coach Prime, then let it happen. But we really couldn't understand why the HBCU across the street would not come and even recruit kids from the number 2 high school, according to USA Today. We were ranked number 2 in the country. We 1 block away from you, and they wouldn't come recruit us. Now, for years, HBCUs have not recruited the 5-star athlete because they felt they didn't have a shot. That's what I like about DEON. DEON is not afraid to recruit these top-notch athletes. But in order to get these top-notch athletes, one, HBCUs have to upgrade their facilities. For a long time, Prairie View A&M could not win a football game. They could not win a football game. You see what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, they started upgrading the facilities. And then kids started looking at them. And now you see Prairie View in the thick of things every year. My godson, it was just a member of the team that just finished playing and lost to Jackson State in the SWAC championship. But the thing is he could have went any way he wanted to go, but he chose Prairie View A&M University, which is a great academic college. I want to read Al's comment. The problem playing in the SWAC, you have to ball out the field or gym if you want to make the pros. And I totally agree with you. I think that the SWAC puts you in the perspective of being black. We've always been taught when you're black, you have to be 2 or 3 times better. So the thing that I agree on with Al is when they go to the SWAC or go to HBCUs, they're going to have to be 2 or 3 times better to even get looked at, because the first place that the NFL coaches go or the NBA goes is to Oklahoma, Miami. You know what I'm saying? Ohio State, Texas A&M, LSU, Alabama. So in order to get to the pros from the SWAC, you are just going to have to be an exceptional talent. You are going to have to work that much harder in order to get there. But I think that as an athlete, that's the mode that you should be in regardless. You should always want to be 2 or 3 times better than the person that you have to play against. And I think that you should ball out. I think that you can't take any plays off, or you can't, take even on the hardwood, you can't take a play off. You can't slack it when you're in the SWAC. You gotta flat out bring it every single day. I want to read some of these comments. Derek Collier, my good friend, says, DEON is the truth. I'm so proud of him and the young brother to commit to our own schools. And I'm being honest with you, with the way that some of these athletes are going to these Power Fives, and then, 2 months later, they're in the transfer portal and they end up at a SWAC school. You should have went to HBCU from the beginning. Man, it ain't nothing like going to an all-black school. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're not black, you don't understand it. I went to an all-black high school, historically all-black high school. And let's just be honest, man, I wouldn't have traded that experience for nothing in the world. If I could do it all over, that's the school that I would have went to. I'd have went to Jack A. Senior High School, which just is a smaller version of an HBCU. So the experience on an HBCU campus is crazy. But from an academic standpoint, can you get a great education at an HBCU? Hell yeah. Texas Southern University has one of the best law programs in the country. Prairie View A&M has one of the top nursing programs in the country. So yes, you can go to an HBCU and get the same, if not better, education that you could get at some of these big schools. But from an athletic standpoint, you have to look at the people that go to HBCUs. Y'all hold on a second. I haven't eaten all day, so bear with me. And I got a cheat snack. It ain't a cheat snack because I ain't ate. Y'all hold on a second. Hold on. So yes, I think that you should look at HBCUs. I think that you should understand that sometimes you got to be around your people. You have to be. You're treated differently. You know, sometimes you're treated with more respect than you would if you went to a Power Five. From an athletic standpoint, I really think that our kids need to come home. They need to come home. They need to come home to the HBCUs and they need to ball out. And whatever God got for you, that's what it's going to be. Yeah, I know HBCUs don't get a lot of airtime. DEON got a lot of airtime this year, but most HBCUs, they don't get to be on ABC, NBC, CBS, and ESPN. But if you're Michael Strahan, you just go play the game. Texas Southern University graduate, you just go play the game. I like the fact that Shaquille O'Neal has 2 children at Texas Southern University. Just go play the game. And a lot of these kids have to also understand that when you go under that gauntlet, when you go under that spotlight of that Power 5 school, that Oklahoma, that Texas, sometimes you can't handle that. Sometimes it's too much. So you just may need a smaller situation. And if you're playing for the right school right now, and I'm gonna be honest with you, man, Prairie View A&M and Jackson State are breaking attendance records. They have, you know, I know for a fact PV has top-notch football facilities, not brand new stadium. You know, the thing is you can get under those lights and be just as impactful as you would if you were playing under the lights of a Power 5. There are a lot of greats that have gone to HBCUs like the Walter Paytons. You know, oh, where did he go to school? Jackson State. The Jerry Rice's, Mississippi Valley. You see what I'm saying? And I mean, there are some guys that didn't make it in the pros that went to HBCUs. One of my favorite players of all time was the quarterback for Mississippi Valley when Jerry Rice was there, Willie Satellite Totten. Willie Satellite Totten could flat-footed throw it 80 yards. But when you got a receiver like Jerry Rice, man, you can flat out go, man. But I liked Mississippi Valley that year, 1985, for a lot of reasons. I liked them because their coach, Archie, the gunslinger Cooley, was, without a doubt, one of the greatest coaches they ever coached a game. You have to look at the Eddie Robinson factor from Grambling University, an institution in himself. You see what I'm saying? So there are a lot of players that went the HBCU route that ended up in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, man, and some of the best that you'll ever see play the game. So can our kids thrive at HBCUs athletically? Yes, they can. They can, but we have to push them a little bit harder to just look at the HBCUs. We can't overlook them anymore. DEON has put you in a position where you cannot overlook HBCUs anymore. I want to read these comments. This is from Alicia Papillon. Sanders, a Pro Football Hall of Famer, has rapidly made a program that was long removed from the days in which it was other historically black colleges where fertility pipelines to the pros. This is more than awesome. And I totally agree with her. I totally agree, man. I love what Prime is doing, man. But I don't know. A lot of people thought Prime was going to show up and not show out. Well, you didn't know Coach Prime to begin with. You didn't know DEON Sanders to begin with, because DEON is not going to accept failure. DEON is not going to accept mediocrity. DEON is a champion. He was a champion at Florida State. He was a champion in the NFL, you know, Super Bowl championships, a two-sport athlete on the pro level, playing football for the Falcons and baseball for the Braves. You see what I'm saying? He can flat out go. So the way that DEON's built is he's not going to accept mediocrity. It's not going to happen. You're going to be the best player of all time when you're with him. That's how he feels. He feels that you are the best player at your position, and that's what he wants out of you. And you should want that for your child. Academically, you will be challenged at HBCU. You will be academically challenged at an HBCU. So can it offer everything that a Texas and an Oklahoma can offer? No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And I love what Prime is doing. Those that thought he would fail, they're eating crow right now. Because they should. But DEON shook the world up today, man. When you can flip the number one recruit, not the number 2, not the number 5, not the number 10, but the number one recruit from Florida State to Jackson State, that says a lot about you as a coach. And that says a lot about your program. My good friend Marie Celestine says he's the best and expects the best. And that's exactly what I love about. I love the fact that when DEON was a player, he would talk to you. That he would remind you that I'm finna put it on your mind. You see, they don't make players like the Jordans and the DEONs and the Larry Birds. They don't make players like that no more. They could talk like a G and they could walk like one. You see what I'm saying? This is why I believe that our children should give hard looks to HBCUs. Brad McBride said he has the perfect coach to take him to the next level. Can't wait to watch him grow. Exactly. The kid is a cornerback. Man, do you hear me? The kid is a cornerback. I want to make sure I'm saying his name right. Dejon Warren. He's a cornerback. Who better to learn the game from than the best cornerback to ever play in the NFL? Why wouldn't you want your child to go there? So instead of you as a parent in the summer times where you're looking for camps to send your kids to, you ain't got to keep running them over to U of H. Get your behind in the car and drive down to Jackson, Mississippi. Take them to Coach Prime's camp. You never know, he might offer them on the spot, because that's what DEON is doing. If he sees it, he's going after it right then. You see what I'm saying? He's going after it right then. Let me go in here and read some of these comments. Steve Antoine, as much as I like Alabama, I love what Coach Prime is doing. Please don't realize the power. People don't realize the power he has. And he's talking about Coach Prime. NFL owners respect and listen to Prime. Exactly. Nick Saban has a lot of influence on getting kids to the pros. DEON Sanders knows just as many people. He knows just as many GMs. He knows just as many coaches. He knows just as many owners. He knows just as many scouts. So why wouldn't you look at an HBCU? Not just Coach Prime, but why wouldn't you look at Texas Southern University for some of these kids that Coach McKinney is over there coaching? McKinney has just as many plugs as anybody else to get you to the pros. But you're going to have to ball out. No doubt about it. Let's look at Kenitra Walker's comment. He gives these kids life lessons. It's not all about football. He teaches them how to protect themselves, their money, and reputations. You know, last week, there was a firestorm because Brian brought the video vixen to talk to the kids, which I think was a great idea. Man, when you DEON Sanders and you prime time in your prime, women come from everywhere. We see pro athletes every day getting tricked out their money, man. We see them getting tricked out their money every day. We see these girls out here getting pregnant for them and then laughing at them after they announce the pregnancy because they know they now have them on an 18-year financial plan. I don't know another coach that has brought somebody into their program so that they could educate their boys on the pitfalls of being a star athlete. That was masterful coming from DEON. Because you know why? It needed to be said. See, I figured out when I went to college, it was 3 guys. And Marie, tell me if I'm wrong. Marie Celestine, tell me if I'm wrong. It was 3 types of guys on the campus that got the girls. Scholars, athletes, and damn fools. So y'all already know what category I was in. I was a damn fool. That meant I got some girls. Even my little fat ass got some girls when I was in college, man. Scholars, athletes, and damn fools. Now, in college, not all women are like this. They have what I call. I've labeled them. I've given them the name. So excuse my French, but if you went to college, then you know I'm not lying. They have what I call season hoes. Did you hear what I just said? They have what I call season hoes. So what does that mean? When it's football season, they sleeping with the football players. When it's basketball season, they lead a basketball player. They lead a football player. They go sleep with the basketball players. Now, track, you're going to have to be just exceptional to tap into the season whole pipeline. But if you're that good on the track field, when basketball is over, they got about 2 months left in track, they'll switch over to track, and then it's good. But they season hoes. If you've been to college, you know I'm not lying. So I think it was masterful what DEON did, bringing that girl in there, so he could educate his kids, because that's a part of the life that they're going to live. It's a part of the life that they go. I didn't give a damn how ugly I was. See, I knew what Biggie Smalls was talking about in the music game. I knew what Biggie Smalls was talking about when he was talking about how ugly he was. It didn't matter how ugly I was or how fat I was. When I grabbed that microphone in a venue, I knew I was going to get some ass after the show, though. Because that's just what it is. When you're an athlete in college, that's just what it is. They got season hoes in college. When it's football season, they with the football player. When it's basketball season, they leave the football player. They go sleep with the basketball player. And then if you good in track, they got a couple of months left in school, they'll switch from basketball to track. But they try to stay with those football and basketball players because that's the money. Virgil, I'm not lying, dog. Marie said she just agreed. Dog, they got season hoes, man, in college, man. They got season hoes in college, man. So DEON bringing that young lady in there to talk to these guys about the pitfalls that come with being a star athlete, I think that needed to be done. Marie just said, you're correct, Gary Monroe. I'm telling you what it is. Man, I'm going to tell you how I would, man. Every year, every semester, I would go sit on the girls' freshman dorm. They had steps out there, so I would go sit out there. You see what I'm saying? Because I knew somebody had dropped their little dumb daughter off at school. She was a freshman, ain't never been nothing, don't know nothing. I was broke, and I knew. Now, Bruce Lee Wynn say, well, what about the baseball players? The white girls gravitate to the baseball players. Tell me I'm lying. If you've been to college, you know I ain't lying. I don't care what color the baseball player is, but the white girls and my Latino sisters, they gravitate to the baseball players. Now, I don't want y'all to say I'm misogynistic. I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth. They gravitate to the baseball players. But somebody looking for a come up. Do y'all know about the 18-year financial plan? When you're an athlete, there's this thing that you don't ever have to be a part of. But it's called an 18-year financial plan. You have some girls that will that'll lock on to you because you're the star athlete. And the only purpose of locking on to you is to put you on an 18-year financial plan. They don't love you. They don't care. But I tell you what, when you that college star, you get all the ass you want. But that one is going to lock on you. She don't care if you cheat on her. She don't care about none of that. She just know you looking at an NBA contract. She just know that you looking at an NFL contract. So they will let you just clown them. But they ain't finna give you up. And they will fight anybody that try to talk to you. That's the reason DEON brought that girl there, man. Because it is what it is. And now with these guys having the ability to sign these endorsement contracts while they are college athletes, it's going to get worse. Let's read some of these comments, man. Virgil say, laugh my ass off, season hoes. Yep. Marie said, you're correct, Gary Monroe. Steve Antoine says, laugh out loud. What they do, winter sports, is out for the summer. Kenitra said, they're just trying to come up any way they can. L. White, they looking to have those jackpot babies. And Steve Antoine calls it the peanut scholarship. I'm being honest with you, man. So I like the fact that Coach Prime is teaching these guys life lessons. And Thunder said he was trying to school the youngsters on these women. Exactly. Now you might end up with a nice girlfriend in college. Stick with her. Or a nice boyfriend. If you're the girl athlete, stick with her. Or whatever however you do it. But stick with them. Don't get caught up in that lifestyle. Because the recruitment trips already got you gassed up. If you ain't never been on a college recruiting trip, you don't even understand. You don't even understand. Your son been on one? Your nephew? Your grandson? Bet you they don't tell you everything they did. I bet you that. But I will say this here. College recruitment trips set the table. You see what I'm saying? It sets the table for what they should expect. Now, I think that a kid that's going, whether they're HBCUs or Power Fives, your freshman and sophomore year in college is very, very important to you. I basically started all over. And I knew, because I preached a sermon to kids, those first 2 years are the most important to get your GPA where you need it. My first 2 years back in college, I took it very, very seriously. And I blew it out the water academically. And now I will say that I'm not struggling at all in college. It's pretty easy to me now. And my cumulative GPA is a 3.4. That's not bad for me because I'm an old man, and I just thought that maybe I could keep that 2.5. But now I'm fighting every semester to get a 4.0 grade average. I'm fighting every semester to get a 4.0 grade average. So regardless if your son is that top athlete or not, at whatever school, those first 2 years of college are the most important. Get that stuff and knock that stuff out, man. You know what I'm saying? But I also will tell kids is if the SWAC is not there for you, if HBCUs can't do it for you, and you know that you're not ready for that college classroom, go to JUCO. Go to JUCO. Take your behind to a JUCO so you can get acclimated to being a college student. I didn't go, I went to a 2-year college when I started this, and now I'm at Lamar University. And even the work at Lamar is not a stretch for me because I do what I'm supposed to do. Like I got 6 classes next semester. So what am I going to do to get ahead? Well, it's about to be Christmas break. So I'm going to go into my computer probably next week. I'm going to pull up my stuff. I'm going to look at my classes and I'm going to order my books. Man, but you don't start class for like a month and a half. Doesn't matter. I got a month and a half to get ahead on my reading. So really 3 classes the first half and then 3 classes the second half of my semester. So I'll order those first 3 books and I'll get ahead. So when my class starts, I get to knocking out assignments. And if my professors are smart enough, I ain't gonna call them dumb, but smart enough to drop all our assignments at one time, I can finish a class in 3 days. I can finish an 8-week class in 3 days because I'm gonna sit there and just do the work. This is what these college athletes have to do. Remember, they have to be student athletes. Let's read Thunder's comment. If you have a, I'm gonna put it up for y'all because I want y'all to see this. If you have a good girl before you go pro, wife her up. If she's a good one, don't fall for them. If she's a good one, don't fall for them other women. Remember that old song, "Don't let the green grass fool you." I give you the prime example of what she's saying. LeBron James and his wife. That was his girlfriend in high school. That was his girlfriend in high school. And sometimes it works, just like LeBron and his wife. But sometimes it doesn't work, like Dwayne Wade and his first wife. That was his high school sweetheart, but it didn't work out. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You see what I'm saying? But the thing is I love everything that DEON is doing right now. It's massive exposure for HBCUs. You can no longer, as a parent, as a prospective college student, overlook HBCUs if you want to talk about athletics. Because Shaq kids could have went anywhere they wanted. One is the son that's at Texas Southern was at I think he was at Arizona or UCLA. He was at one of those. I think it was Arizona. And he had heart problems and then he stepped out for a second. But when he came back, he chose Texas Southern University. His daughter was at LSU. She left LSU and now she's at Texas Southern University. So is that a step back? Hell no. Hell no. Girls basketball at Texas Southern University has had Hall of Fame coaches. Cynthia Cooper Dykes. You know Cynthia Cooper from the Houston Comets, 4-time WNBA champion, was right here on the war zone with me one night. That's the type of coaches they had. Girls basketball. Boys basketball, where Shaq's sons play, they've had NCAA champions. Mike Davis was the coach, coached in the pros. So you no longer can say it's a step back. Hell no, it's not a step back. I like the fact, and they struggled a little bit this year, the football program at Texas Southern. And there's some changes that need to be made. I'm not going to go into detail, but graduating these kids is one of the most important things that a coach needs to worry about when they have coaches, when they have kids at HBCUs. We need to graduate our kids. So even if his football record doesn't look that good at Texas Southern University, let's look at that graduation rate. He getting them out of school with them degrees. So if they don't play ball, they can go into the real world and at least get a decent job. You feel what I'm saying? They can get a nice job. But you cannot overlook HBCUs anymore to say that your child will not have the exposure that they need in order to get to the next level. They are playing for DEON Sanders. No matter where DEON go, no matter what he do, the spotlight is on him. And right now, I think a lot of SWAC schools need to look at what Jackson State is doing, but also what they plan on doing. I'll be glad when Texas Southern University builds a brand new on-campus stadium. They need that. I think that's what they need to attract more athletes. You got to understand these kids and their swag. They don't want to just play on campus in front of 200 or 300 people. They want to play in front of a crowd of people, man. They, my mama and them here, and ain't nobody understands but my mama and them. No, you want to pack those stands for them. You see what I'm saying? So there's some things that other HBCUs can learn from the DEON factor. And what they need to be doing is capitalizing off what he's doing. If you are in the SWAC, if you're an HBCU, stop being afraid to go after the top athlete. Stop being afraid to go after the top athlete. Steve Antoine says, "You right. If they don't play ball, we still gonna have our future doctor, lawyers, presidents." Tanitra says racism during the pandemic pissed a lot of kids off, and they're choosing HBCUs over PWIs. That is true. It pissed a lot of people off, and racism has exposed the fact that sometimes we just need to stay at home. I don't see a reason for a Jack Yates line to have to even rack their brain on where they going to school. They right across the street from two universities, the University of Houston and Texas Southern University. Now, I think if you want to be treated a certain way and with the respect that you deserve, I think you're going to take your behind across the street. You're going to stand right there on Cleburne and Sampson, and you're going to look to the right, and you're going to go to Texas Southern University. But U of H has been great to Yates athletes over the past. The great Eddie Gilmore was a University of Houston Cougar. My man Sloan Hood, who was a terror, ended up getting drafted by the Chicago Bears. Was a great Southwest Conference legend at the University of Houston. Ricky Winslow, Michael Young, Phi Slamma Jamma, played for Hall of Famer Guy Lewis at the University of Houston. So you don't even have to leave your neighborhood sometimes to be able to get a quality education. But more importantly, when we're talking about the white education versus the black education, I think you can figure that out. But that black college experience is nothing like that white one. That black college experience is something serious. Man, you finna have a ball if you go to a HBCU. But don't ball out on the court in the field. Don't ball out at all the parties, because you're gonna do like Monroe did when I first went to school. I ain't missed one party. I'm up in the country, man, jumping, and I'm literally, I'm telling you the truth, getting drunk, jumping off cliffs into the water. I couldn't handle it. I really wasn't in the school. But now at the age that I'm in a school. I could have went HBCU, and I'm really thinking about my last 10 classes, taking them on campus at an HBCU because I would want to graduate from an HBCU. I don't know yet. I'm really liking Lamar. I like everything about it, but it's just something about graduating from an HBCU, and it carries a lot of weight nowadays. You look at the political landscape of the United States of America, you look at some of these people that are now sitting in positions of power politically, and a lot of them graduated from HBCUs. You see what I'm saying? So the business connections that you could make being a graduate from an HBCU could help you for a lifetime. You know, that pipeline to business is strong. It's strong, especially the fraternities and the sororities. Those things are strong. When you getting out of school as a college graduate and you looking to go to the next phase of your life. You know, your brother that's a Kappa may own a Fortune 500 company, and you might just get the job because you a Kappa. But that's the pipeline, man. You know, it is what it is. I really enjoy talking to you people every night. And tonight I wanted to lighten it up, and I wanted, because I'm a big DEON Sanders fan. I'm a big fan of several players, man. I'm a big fan of Ray Lewis. That was arguably the best player that I love watching play. Jerry Rice. I mean, you know, it is what it is. DEON Sanders. I'm a big Joe Montana fan from back in the day. 49er fan till I died, man. That's just what it was with me. But I mean, right now, the spotlight is on DEON Sanders. I think Coach Prime is on. He's doing some special things out at Jackson State. And I think we should wrap our arms around him and that program and congratulate them on today for doing something that no HBCU can ever say that they've done. Snatch the #1 recruit in the nation out of the paws of Florida State. It's a reason I'm the best in the business. Every night, 7 o'clock, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We everywhere now. Always an honor and a pleasure to deliver you the facts. But make sure you tell them tomorrow night they need to tune in to the one and only 5-star general. Thank you so much. We on the Dean's list again. We 16 classes away from our bachelor's degree in criminal justice. And I'm coming to get it too. And then straight to law school. Until tomorrow, I'll holler at you.